If Iran's oil revenue is increasing, why is the economy tanking? In a meeting with a group of clerics in late March, Iranian regime president Ebrahim Raisi claimed that oil exports have reached pre-sanctions level and said,
بعضی از آقایون تو جلسات خود ما بودیم تو جلسات میگفتن اگه 200,000 بشکه کسی نفت بتونه بیاره مثلا صادر بکنه ما میذاریمش مثلا وزیر نفت. اینقدر براشون مهم بود. ما امروز جهت اطلاع شما شرایط ما برگشته به قبل از تحریم، یعنی ما کاملا داریم نفت رو به میزان بالایی صادر میکنیم در کشور. پولش هم داره برمیگرده.
Reflecting on the ongoing negotiations in Vienna over the regime's nuclear program, Raisi said, "We absolutely won't tie the people's lives and the economy to the nuclear deal and negotiations. Whether the negotiations reach a conclusion or not, we have our own plans to run the economy." Raisi's remarks came while the negotiations have stalled over the regime's demand to remove the Revolutionary Guards, IRGC, from the U.S. list of foreign terrorist organizations, FTO, as part of the deal. With little transparency into the regime's oil operations, it is hard to verify Raisi's claims. It is worth noting, however, that on March 19th, Oil Minister Javad Aouji had given a different assessment.
خب در مجلس شورای اسلامی تصمیم نمایندگان محترم تصمیم گرفتن که اون سقف صادرات ما از 1,200,000 بشکه برای نفت و میانات به 1,400,000 بشکه. خب قطعا وزارت نفت تمام تلاشش رو میکنه انشاءالله که به اعداد ارقامی که نمایندگان محترم برای بودجه 1401 در خصوص بحث فروش نفت و میانات گازی و خالص گاز صادراتی انشاءالله تحقق بده کنه.
But on April 1st, Aouji told the regime's state-run television,
الحمدلله امروز شاهدیم که ظرفیت تولید نفت به قبل از تحریم‌ها یعنی بالغ بر بیش از 3,800,000 بشکه این ظرفیت تولید رسیدیم و انشالله آمادگی داریم به این در حقیقت در بحث عملکرد تولید به این عدد هیچ مشکلی نداریم. با یک اراده قوی و با شناسایی بازارهای جدید، بازاریابی قوی و استفاده از روش‌های مختلف در قراردادهای نفتیمون و شناسایی در حقیقت مشتریان جدید الحمدلله و استفاده از نیروهای متعهد و متخصص در این حوزه، استفاده از تمامی ظرفیت‌ها و پتانسیل‌ها که در شرکت ملی نفت بوده و سایر دستگاه‌ها الحمدلله رب العالمین این اتفاق خوب رقم خورده که ما با یک رقم بالایی در بحث فروش نفت و میانات گازی امروز در حقیقت به دست آوردیم. خب ظرفیت در حقیقت صادرات نفت در شاید سال گذشته همین موقع شما آمار رو بگیرید ظرفیت صادرات نفت پایینی اتفاق افتاده بود، چه در بخصوص در بحث میانات گازی. انشالله با تلاشی که همکاران ما در این حوزه دارن انشالله امیدواریم که سال 1401 با ارقام بالاتری تو بحث صادرات نفت و میانات و سایر فرآورده‌های نفتی و محصولات پتروشیمی انشالله دست پیدا کنیم.
What is certain is that the regime has increased its oil production and revenue thanks to several factors. First, considering the nuclear negotiations and the West's penchant to avoid causing tension, the regime has adopted a more aggressive approach toward circumventing oil sanctions. Some reports indicate that the regime is shipping its oil in vessels flying the flags of other countries, though most of it is going to China at prices lower than the market. Second, the regime is benefiting from the growing price of oil due to the ongoing Russian invasion of Ukraine, and at the same time, the Revolutionary Guards and its proxies in the region are conducting missile and drone attacks against oil facilities in neighboring countries to affect oil markets. But all of this begs many questions. If the regime has in fact managed to increase its oil sales in 2021 and bring the money home, why has the price of food increased by an average 52%? Why has inflation increased to 40.2% according to the regime's own statistical center? Why is the government planning to increase the price of gasoline to cover its budget deficit? Why is the regime removing subsidies from medicine? Why is the regime refraining from increasing the wages of teachers despite months of nationwide protests? And finally, why has the price of housing increased to the point that many people are sleeping on rooftops, in buses, or in graves? These and many other facts indicate that the Iranian economy has continued to tank in the same period that the regime has increased its oil revenues. On the other hand, the regime has increased its terrorist activities in the region, the development of its ballistic missiles and underground missile facilities, its development of nuclear weapons, and the bolstering of its security and censorship apparatus, instead of investing the added revenues in the economy and improving the welfare of the Iranian people. Indeed, the regime continues to ship weapons, drones, and missiles to terrorist groups in the region to wage war and destabilize the region. All of this proves once again that the regime prioritizes its hold on power over anything else, including the livelihoods of more than 80 million people living in Iran, 60 million of whom are living under the poverty line. Raisi was right on one thing in his remarks. The people's lives and Iran's economy are not tied to the nuclear negotiations, nuclear deal, or the lifting of sanctions. The situation will only improve when the mullah's regime is overthrown and replaced with a democratic state.